Dear students, in our previous classes, we have discussed some of the basic concepts of economics. When I discussed about the basic concepts of economics, we learned certain important terms like utility, consumption, also production, and different sectors of economy. With this background, let us continue in the same chapter what we have as utility, meaning, features, and different types of utility. Today's class, let us take that particular heading and discuss in detail. Same topic, whatever we started with basic concepts of economics under that chapter only, a subheading we have to continue is utility. First of all, the term utility meaning is required to be known. The term utility means want satisfying power of a commodity. That means any commodity which has a power to satisfy the human wants. That is, you can write it in the other way as well. It is a power of a commodity to satisfy human wants. For example, you want to write. If you have a pen as well as a book, these two commodities have the power to satisfy your want to write. That means pen as well as the book what you have, these two have utility for you. However, these two terms meanings are required to be known. Remember, this question you can expect it for 2 marks. Define the term utility. Just simple meaning you remember. Want satisfying power of a commodity or power of a commodity to satisfy human wants. That's what example, any example you can. For example, you want to sit, but if you get a chair, a table, furniture, then furniture has utility. In economics, we speak about commodities which have utilities. Remember, sometimes there can be commodities without any utility. We are not taking such commodities in economics into consideration. We always take such commodities which have utilities or which have the power to satisfy human wants. That's what. But in reality, there can be commodities without any utility. Then let us move on to features of utility. I have listed altogether 5 features. So each one of these features are clearly known. Let us take the first one. Utility has no real existence. What exactly this term real existence mean? The term utility is a psychological factor. Practically speaking, there's no real existence for utility. Since it is a psychological factor completely, utility has got no real existence. For example, if a person, whatever the utility that he derives, may be different. Sometimes he may get more or less utility. In fact, what he derives by consuming a commodity, that may be more or less, but practically speaking, it is a psychological issue. It has got no real existence. For example, if the utility of a cigarette is created to a smoker, habitual smoker, but when that person gives up that smoking as a habit, then cigarette will no longer be having utility for that individual. That means same commodity, different times. Clear? One time when he has that habit, it has got utility. When he gives up that habit, no utility. Let us move on to second. Utility is a relative term. In the previous point itself, I told you utility is a psychological factor. Since it's a psychological factor, you can compare easily. For example, The same commodity may have different utilities to different individuals. Commodity is same, some X product. Two different people use that same product, but whatever the utility derived by the first one and the second one differs. Again, sometimes same individual may get different utilities depending upon the time at different points of time. It all depends on his urge, his need. A person who is thirsty, if he gets water, that water has utility to him. But that too again, it depends on the intensity of want. If intensity of want differs, utility also differs from person to person. Sometimes for the same person, different points of time it differs. Come to third point. Utility does not have any moral significance. That is, actually utility is the capacity or capability of a commodity to satisfy human want. The very meaning is clear for us. But whether the want itself is morally justified, is it accepted by the society or not, is totally irrelevant here for us. For instance, a harmful drug has utility for a person who is addicted to that particular drug. But morally, that is not justified. But for his point of view, the drug has utility to him. Go to the next fourth point. Utility and satisfaction are not the same. You may get this particular question for 2 marks. Differentiate between utility and satisfaction, or distinguish between utility and satisfaction. How can you differentiate? Similar to that, you may get a question. First of all, you should be able to differentiate between these two. Very first one, remember, utility is the pleasure that a person hopes to derive. I repeat, the pleasure which a person hopes to derive after the consumption of a commodity. That means actually has not consumed the product. Before the consumption itself, he has an idea how much what you call satisfaction he can get. That hope, the pleasure that a person hopes to derive after the consumption of a commodity is called utility. But the other side, satisfaction, the actual pleasure that a person gets after the consumption of a commodity. This is actual pleasure. Satisfaction is actual pleasure he derives after consumption. But utility is the hope of a person, how much satisfaction he can get after consuming. However, these two are not the same. Satisfaction is actually what he derives after consumption. Utility is before consumption he hopes. That hope is utility. Anyway, come back to next, fifth. Utility cannot be measured cardinally. What exactly this term cardinally refers to? Actually, in economics we have two schools in this regard. One is called Cardinal School of Economists, another is called Ordinal School of Economists. Here, please note cardinalists, those who believe that utility can be measured by numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Whereas the other school, Ordinal School of Economists or Ordinals, they discard the opinion of cardinalists. They are of that opinion utility cannot be measured in terms of numbers, but it can be compared. However, economists like Alfred Marshall believed that utility can be measured by cardinal numbers. That's what I already told you, cardinal numbers. And these are called Cardinal School of Economists. For example, if an individual may say that when his consumption of milk increases from 1 to 2 glasses of milk per day, then his utility from the consumption of milk increases from 10 to 15. That means numbers are taken into consideration. However, the other school, the ordinal school of economists, discard this opinion. They reject this opinion. They say that cardinally measuring utility is unrealistic. It is not possible to measure in cardinal numbers, and they give a different opinion. And utility cannot be cardinally measured, they say. However, it can be measured ordinally, they say. What exactly this term ordinally refers to? That is, it is possible to order the utilities obtained from different commodities. Order in the sense that, like, one, first, second, like that. Compare accordingly. In this case, utility can be ordinally measured. It has been shown that the very purpose of economic theory is sufficient to assume that utility can be ordinally measured. However, those who believe this view are called ordinal school of economists.